Hi, my name's Jordan Reyne, and I'm back with an update about the Digitech Jamman Stereo, namely how to use it, but also how to use it particularly in a live situation where there are certain things you've got to be aware of, otherwise you can run into problems. Now the first thing you'll notice is that I'm using two microphones. The reason for that is I use one of them, this one here, for lead vocals, and I use this one to run through the Digitech Jamman Stereo. You can hear I've got effects on this one. What that points out is that I'm able to do two different things with two different channels. If I want to put reverb on the main vocal, which I'm about to do, I can. But all of the things that are running as loops, your sound technician can control quite separately from whatever you're using as a main vocal. And this can be very, very handy if you run into troubles using the Digitech Jamman Stereo live. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate using a song, which I will perform live, and show you how to do that from setup all the way through to the other bits that you need to know. Okay, so set up first. This is the microphone that's going to go into this particular unit, the Digitech Jamman Stereo. You'll notice on the back here, this is the Canon connector. Sometimes this is the Canon connector. Some people call it different things in different countries. That's what we call it down under. It's the big circle one that you plug a microphone into, right? So one end is already plugged in here. The other end goes in here. What that means is when I hit the record button, anything that's coming through the microphone is going to be recorded by the Digitech Jamman Stereo. If I was going to use guitar for this song, I would plug that in here where it says inputs, mono. Okay, so it's down there. However, I'm actually just going to concentrate on using vocal loops for this song, keeping it simple. Here's my output. So I'm just running a mono output. It's a vocal signal, so I don't actually need a stereo output. It goes in here. And hear it going in. Of course, the power is over here. You can hear that going as well. Now, of course, when you start up the Digitech Jamman Stereo, it takes a little while before it starts up and points to like a normal number instead of just dashes and things. It doesn't take too long. Here we go. Right, now you'll see this is just sort of landed on loop 37 because that's the one I was playing with before I started making this video. Other things to note, okay, because if you're going to be using this live, levels are incredibly important. What I always do is set the loop level to 12 o'clock. I set the instrument level, in this case, to 0 because no instruments are plugged in, so I just make sure there's 0 on there. For the vocal inputs, I set that to just below 12 o'clock, so maybe sort of 11:30. I don't know how clearly you can see. I might have to do a cutaway here. But anyway, the reason for that is if I'm building up lots of vocal loops, of course, the sound gets louder and louder because you've got a lot of waves that will sort of, add on to each other. So you can end up getting a distorted signal coming out of the Digitech Jamman Stereo simply because you've sung a whole lot of vocal takes over the top of each other. So what I want is for each vocal take to go in slightly more quietly than 12 o'clock, all right? That would just be a sort of a 0 setting. This is slightly less than that. So those are important things to note live. Also, of course, just make sure that you've got a loop where there's nothing on it, because I use machine sounds. Now and again, I'll hit start, and there's some machine sounds will just come through the channel. So here we are. Loop 37 has nothing on it. You can tell because when you hit record down here, it goes red. It will now be recording whatever comes through here. So I'm just going to babble a bit and then press stop so that you can see that it repeats. Okay, stopping now. It goes red. It will now be recording whatever comes through here. So I'm just going to babble a bit and then press stop. I'll stop that because I hate that. But that's what happens. Basically, you hit this button here to start recording. You hit it again to stop. Seeing as that loop, I haven't recorded over it or changed what loop I'm on. It will still be in there now. So when I press play, it goes red. It's still there. It will now be recording whatever comes through here. I'm going to turn it down on the main desk. And then press stop so that you can see that it repeats. Okay, stopping now. So you can hear me babbling on in the background there. Now, to record over the top of that, so if I'm singing something pretty, I will actually record over the top of that by hitting this button again. And it goes a different colour. It's actually orange. I don't know how well it will turn up on the screen. So it means I can actually sing something else over the top. It will stay the same length, and whatever I sing over the top will then start to repeat itself. Stop the whole thing. So what I'm going to do now is actually perform a song that I do very often live. So I really hope you like bloodthirsty Celtic music because that's what I do. But it will give you an idea of how the Digitech Jamman Stereo can be used to make some very interesting effects because basically with the microphone, it's not just singing that will come through, anything will come through. So if I'm doing claps and clicks and hisses, that will come through as well. So you can use these things to a percussive effect. I will be using cutaways to show when I'm hitting buttons on the Digitech Jamman Stereo, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Right, you'll notice I now have some reverb on my voice. That is because I'm going to perform a song and I don't want it to sound too horrible and dry when I'm doing this. What you'll also notice, I've got two microphones here. Now this black one, this Heil mic, is the one that I'm going to be using for the main vocals. That is when I'm singing and not looping. If I want to record something that I'm singing, I will sing through this microphone. Now, that microphone is of course hooked up to the Digitech Jamman Stereo, and there'll be cutaways to show you exactly when I'm hitting buttons on the Digitech Jamman Stereo. So what I'm going to show you is a song that is entirely made out of vocal loops and sort of percussion that you can do with your voice. So part of this is also to show you the sorts of thing that you can actually do creatively, just using vocals on the Digitech Jamman Stereo, but also, of course, to make you aware of some of the issues you have live. Now, of course, the two microphones gives your sound technician full separation over the loops, their level, and your main vocal, so they can actually adjust things if things get too muddy. You'll also remember that I said turn the vocal input signal down to just below 12 o'clock so that you don't get pile up and distortion on the channel that's running out of the Digitech Jamman Stereo. So this particular song is called Dishonour Among Thieves. It came out last week. Actually, depending on when you're watching this, it might have come out 100 years ago. It came out in May 2014. It's from an EP called Crone, which is done entirely using vocal loops on a Digitech Jamman Stereo unit. So it goes like this. La 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 la
Dead last second sight. I am waiting. How I am listening. The slips of the tongue, loose lips, song ships, powered ships, and your your pillars of visions to shock your face by silence, distance, calculate what violence will buy you. never surrender your will to back. I can't remember. You God forbids that you be forgotten. Short stick, cheap trick, dead and rotten. 'Cause we are the men who won't be blamed. We are the ranks whose game has knives in the back, shots in the duck, slide in the hand, cheap trick, suck dick, and don't run, don't walk, don't stand, single file, green light, red square, no blood on your hands. Bam, hits so out of the haze. 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 You look so horrified. Bam, hits so out. You look so horrified. Bam, hits so out. You look so horrified. Bam, hits so out. You look so horrified.
Now you'll notice I was able to fade out the loop track without fading out the main vocal track, and that's part of the thing with separation. If you've got your loops running on a separate track, you can mix them independently of one another, and your sound tech has some ability to fix any level issues that you have. Also, if you keep down your input level, that gives you a lot more scope, and I'm hoping that in seeing that, it's given you some ideas and also some helpful hints on how to use the Digitech Jamman Stereo in a live context. If you like the music that you heard, a link is going to appear magically just down there somewhere. Do head to Bandcamp and support indie music if you can. The EP Crone is the one you'll be after if you're interested in vocal looping. The album is made entirely out of vocal loops with tribal drums, so it gives you an idea of the sorts of things that are possible writing music with loop machines. So till next time, thanks for watching and see you later. Bye.